So I would look at this one and I would think I've got to do distribution first. Okay, so distribution first, then combining like terms. The problem is some students look at this and they're like, there is no distribution, but there is. Multiplication is distribution. Pretty much if I ever see any sets of parentheses, I am expecting some form of distribution. Now, when I show the parentheses there in red, some students say, well, I got to distribute the 20. The 20, you got subtraction between the 20 and that -5. So the number that I'm actually looking at is a -1. There's a phantom 1 there the whole time. So it's -1 times -5. And if you want to show the individual distribution rainbow, then feel free to do that. But I now have negative times a negative, which is going to make a positive. And 1 times 5, anything times 1 is itself, including 5. So now the equation shows something like this. And I just can't emphasize this enough. This is a very common error. And you see how, geez, there's only like 5 terms here. But this one individual error, if we don't do this in the beginning, it tends to mess everything else up. So just be careful. All right, next up, what I would like to do is, and it's important to know where that equal sign is. So I've kind of just brought it down right here, just so I don't mix up combining like terms on either side. Because I can't combine across the equal sign unless I'm going to use principle of equality, which I need to combine like terms first. Combine like terms. Do we even have any like terms? On the left side we do. I've got 6x's minus 9x's, so that'd be 6 minus 9. That means I'm subtracting more than I have, so I should end up in the negatives. And then you just take the big number and subtract the small number. 9 minus 6 is 3. So that's how negative the x's are. I've got negative 3x's. We also got that plus 7 right there, so nothing to do with that. No other constants to combine there with the positive 7. But on the right side, I do have a 20 plus 5, which would be 25. So if you need to add that, feel free to do it. 0 plus 5 is 5, drop the 2. So that completes distribution on the first line, and then the second line, we combined like terms. All right, we got this equation, and kind of wrote it a little weird, but it's doable. So I can ignore all the stuff that I just barely did, although I like to see it. And I see I've got negative 3x plus 7 and equals 25. So there's no like terms that I can combine anymore on either side of the equal sign. So that means I'm at the point where I'm going to need principles of equality to isolate the x's. And I'm talking specifically about the negative 3x's. I'd like to be able to just drop it and see what it equals. But the problem is this plus 7, there's plus. Since it's an addition of 7, and I need to zero it out. But we should also know that it needs to be zeroed out because of the addition. So if we see addition or subtraction, we need to zero it out. And that means that I would have to subtract 7. If I do it to one side, I must do it to the other side. So the negative 3x drops. This was part of our master plan to make this a 0. And then on the right side, I'd make that 15 minus 7, which is 8, and then drop the 1. Or, it just means we got the variable by itself. Now, we need to make that coefficient of x. It's a negative 3 right now, but we need it to be a positive 1x. 1x equals something, and that will complete the problem other than checking. So, how do we make that negative 3 1? Simply divide it by itself. But if you do it to one side, make sure to do it the other side too. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. Here I got a positive divided by negative, so my answer will be a negative. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. We did it. Now, just for the sake of time and space, because I'm out of space there, but this would be 6 times, well, I guess I'll kind of show the work there a little bit. So I got to go back to the top, and I would replace the x's with the negative 6 that we found, right? So that'd be 6 times negative 6. That's going to be positive 36 right there. And then the 9 times, negative 9 times negative 6 be positive 54. So it'd be like 36 That should be negative 36 because it's a positive times a negative. Negative 36 plus 7 would be negative 29, plus 54 is going to be 25. And I'm skipping some work there, but we already did the 20 minus negative 5, which was 25. So that was equal. That's true. So we do have a solution down here at the bottom. Now that's a little bit different way to show the work for checking, but hopefully you have more time and space to do that.